was tragic to end the war in Iraq. Won't set a timeline for ending the war in Afghanistan. I have set a timeline. Our coalition partners and the Afghans